Well, as Epic Universe has the opening date for May 22nd, 2025, it seems that Universal has ramped up more information that they're releasing about aspects coming to Epic Universe. And one thing they released this week on social media and YouTube, basically everywhere, was a sneak peek at the animatronics that are going to be a part of Dark Universe, but more specifically about Frankenstein's experiment monsters Unchained. And now we've seen some glimpses on some of the previous videos that they've released. And one of them, I remember the first time I saw it, I didn't think or know that was going to be an animatronic. I legitimately thought it was an actual person in this costume, but they are utilizing quite a few animatronics here, so they have a sneak peek of it. So I figured let's go through this, watch it, and give some thoughts on it. It's not very long. It's like a minute-long video, but I imagine I may be pausing here because I have watched half of it. I stopped because I actually like to do these as like a live reaction. So go through there because the ones that I did see look very, very lifelike. So we're going to check these out here. So I'm Jared with Capture the Magic, and we will go through this, give some thoughts on it, and see what we think about this.
I am Dr. Victoria Frankenstein. Together, we will finish what my great-grandfather started. Show them.
Monsters Unchained has the most technologically advanced animated figures that have...
Oh my gosh. That looks real.
The most technologically advanced animated figures
Wow.
that have ever been built in the attraction.
These are monsters for the next generation of fans. We wanted to make sure that we kept everything.
I mean, Frankenstein makes sense. I mean, he moves much like an animatronic, so his makes sense, but still, these look real.
That was familiar. Kept everything that was the essence of these monsters. But we wanted to take it to another level.
It looks very tall, too. I don't remember it now. Again, I'm not a big monsters person, so I don't know how tall Frankenstein's supposed to be, but he looks tall. Obviously, it's an up angle, but I'm not really sure how tall he's supposed to be.
These monsters are scary.
These animated figures are moving faster than any figures we have built, and we have so many of them. We have 14 animated figures across this ride floor.
14 animatronic figures in the ride. That's a lot. I mean, those movements are very fluid.
And they are visceral, they are powerful, they are intense, and from a technical standpoint, they
Okay, that legitimately looks like a person.
exceed beyond... Technical standpoint, they exceed beyond everyone's wildest expectations for what an animated figure can do. And they are visceral, they are powerful, they are intense, and from a technical standpoint...
I mean, that Dracula, if you were to tell somebody that's an actual person, I think they would easily believe you. Now, that's basically all it was, about a minute-long peek at this. But we had heard about the animatronics here, and I did see on another thing and read some stuff where they said that they actually had to develop new technology for the animatronics, so they are... I believe they also have, patents for this. So they went above and beyond when it comes to the animatronics here and what they're able to do. But I think just looking at them, they look very fluid and lifelike. So Universal has, they haven't done a ton of animatronics over the years. They have the Kong one that's over in the Reign of Kong, which is a very impressive animatronic. But, typically speaking, Disney has done animatronics for a very long time. Obviously, Walt Disney back in his day is sort of the one that pioneered those. And, they, to their credit, they do have impressive animatronics as well. If you look at the Pandora Navi River ride, which I don't know if it's actually working right now, which is kind of a problem sometimes Disney and animatronics have, of that one that's like I forget what it is. She's like the priestess or whatever in there. Like that, the way that one moves is very, very lifelike. Obviously, I have the Yeti at Disney that no longer does anything, so hopefully that doesn't happen here. So, and Tiana's Bayou Adventure, for the issues that ride has, when those animatronics are working, they are very fluid and look great. But these, in terms of looking very lifelike, and I think that's something too of a lot of times animatronics are not conveying real people necessarily sometimes. Obviously you have the Lincoln stories and things like that and the Hall of Presidents, but in terms of a ride like this, I think this is definitely a step forward for Universal, because I'm trying to think off the top of my head of other ones. I mean, obviously had Jaws back in the day. There was an animatronic ride. But for the most part, Universal has done mostly screen-based things. That's one complaint a lot of people have about Universal, are mostly screen-based, or screen-based attractions on the rides. But it looks like here with Monsters Unchained that this is not going to be the case, that they're going to be using, I'm not sure if it's just going to be animatronics. I'm sure there's going to be some screens involved as well. But having 14 animatronics in the ride to this level is very impressive. And I did hear him on another, we did an episode talking about, they had the people from Dark Universe on their Discover Universal podcast, and they said there are 13, I think then on the episode they said 14 animatronics as well, but that's just the characters. There's other animatronics that are set pieces. So it definitely seems like that they're going above and beyond and not just relying on the screen-based things, trying to do something new that they haven't really done before. And if you're not familiar with this ride, Monsters Unchained Frankenstein Experiment, it's a KUKA arm-based ride. So if you've ever ridden Forbidden Journey, that's what that ride is. So essentially, it has an arm, and then you sit on top of it, and it moves around. And if you've been on that ride, that's like it takes you from scene to scene and points you in. And on Forbidden Journey, a lot of it, there are set pieces in there, but most of them are pretty stationary. There's not really any animatronics as far as I know. I think there's some maybe, but most of them are just kind of set pieces there. But it takes you into screens that it kind of immerse you into a scene. It seems to me what they're doing on here is instead of having you immerse into screens, they're going to immerse you into a scene with animatronics. And from a lot of their descriptions, it's going to be jump scares and kind of scary. So I think having a scare elements with real animatronics and real set pieces like that is definitely going to take the immersion to the next level. So again, the manor itself looks amazing when you look at the construction photos and how that, the scaffolding just came off of that, which it looks fantastic. And then hearing them also talk about, and if you want to check it out, it was on a previous video talking about the Dark Universe from some of the people that have been working on it, but how much immersion is going into that land and the manor here, the Frankenstein manor itself. So I feel like this ride is one where I probably wasn't that excited for it necessarily, in Dark Universe in general when they first announced it, but the more things I hear about it, I'm very excited to check it out. And this could be, I'll be curious to see where people rate this one, how it ends up being like whose favorite ride is what. Because I think most people are going to look at the Battle of the Ministry, probably is the most anticipated ride would be my guess. But I feel like this one's up there because of just everything we're seeing from it, the immersion, the level of detail, all the little things going into it. But looking at these animatronics here, pretty impressive. Now, hopefully they run and they don't break down. Animatronics can be kind of finicky that way, so hopefully we don't run into a Yeti situation that happened over at Expedition Everest, where after a week of opening, it's no longer running. But hopefully, these not only seem high tech, hopefully they're durable. Animatronics can have issues from time to time, so I'm sure at some point on the rides here they could have some issues. And that's one thing I will say is a risk in this is, obviously people, myself included, looking forward to Epic Universe, but with these many, high level details and these animatronics, you do run the risk that there are malfunctioning pieces to it, which is always something on new attractions. But hopefully this is something that has been thought about, ironed out, and the maintenance is there and all those things. But on its face here of what we're seeing, I think it looks fantastic. I love getting these sneak peeks of what they're doing. I think they're really building up some really good anticipation for this. Hopefully we continue to see more sneak peeks and even more animatronics as part of the other rides and attractions here. But I just want to do a video on this because it looks really cool. I'm kind of just, nerding out on Epic Universe stuff. So I'm just making videos on things that I'm interested in here. And so if people enjoy that as well, then that's great. And if not, well, okay, that's fine too. I'm just basically at this point, any information they're giving about Epic Universe, I'm checking it out and kind of just nerding out and geeking out on it. So that's kind of what I'm doing here. So hopefully if you're watching this, you enjoy nerding and geeking out on this as well. But either way, that's going to be it though for this video. If you like this video, please like it and subscribe to the channel as we do all this coverage here of Universal Studios, Epic Universe, Disney World, and pop culture. And let us know in the comments what you think about these animatronics. And are you looking forward to Monsters Unchained, the Frankenstein Experiment, and Dark Universe in general? And until next time, we will see you in the parks.